Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. We're going to do a love reading today, taking a look at what is going on with the person you were dealing with. Remember, though, it is a general reading, so it won't be for everyone, unfortunately. Take what resonates and I'll leave the rest. However, if you are interested in personal readings, I have a half-price sale on at the moment. A link for that is in the description box below. So, overall energy of the reading is the Nine of Swords. Thank God that is in reverse. Main focus here is the Eight of Wands. So, there is some type of communication or action that puts your mind at ease. It does seem more centered around specifically a conversation or a communication, Aries. With that Nine of Swords energy, if it had been upright, this seems to be more kind of to do with the past energy or the change and transition in it, where there's a lot of uncertainty and anxiety kind of around the situation or what is happening. But with the Eight of Wands energy there, our mind is being put at ease. So there's some type of clarity or something that is coming in through some type of conversation. There could be a specific action that may take place as well. Blocks and challenges or justice. So this seems more centered around actually an apology or an explanation, and the Ace of Swords. It seems that you guys have actually been quite upset about this person or the situation, Aries. With whatever action that is taken place, leaving you kind of bereft, at least in sort of a past terms, past sense type of energy. The blocks here with Justice and Ace of Swords, because there's a feeling there around something that they've done that then makes you feel like they don't care. There is a focus on the actual connection in terms of commitment and where it's going to with that Justice Libran energy, which is the opposing energy to you guys, but it's also one centered around actual partnerships, commitment. There may have been a pulling away a little bit of this person's energy. Let's see what their intentions are, because the Ace of Swords, it's showing up in the blocks and challenges. There's been a lack of kind of information around something that we've needed in order to provide clarity around the situation. And with Justice and the Ace of Swords as well, there does seem to be something here that you may be needing them to understand or kind of take ownership and responsibility for. We'll see what's showing up in their intentions. The positive thing, at least, is that that Nine of Swords is in reverse. So no more unanswered questions, or sort of, I don't know if it's as deep as like sleepless nights, but it is that energy where something is on your mind in a negative way and we're not able to let it go or release it. Let's see, what are their intentions, please? We've got the Five of Swords. Well, I don't necessarily like that. And we've got the Page of Wands. There may still be a little bit of conflict to a degree that is coming up with this person. The positive side of things with the Page of Wands, they want to get things on a better page with you. But with the Five of Swords energy focused on conflict, I feel like this isn't as simple as them coming forward, communicating something, and apologizing. This seems to start off, or the catalyst for it is some type of conflict. There's something in their energy with the Five of Swords that they're kind of annoyed about as well. But with some of this having to do with taking ownership and responsibility, I don't know if that's necessarily something that is legitimate and they have like a right to kind of be upset about that, Or sometimes there can be an energy where someone knows they are in the wrong about something, but they get like very defensive about it to the point of kind of aggression and things. But on a deeper level, they want things to be smoothed out with you. But the road towards that, I think they're deflecting a little bit by kind of coming forward and bringing up some grievances that they have with you as well, in order to kind of take the heat off them a little bit. But again, I don't know if that's necessarily kind of warranted, where usually it does take two to tango, but sometimes someone can do something where it is entirely their fault. But there is a fight before the makeup. Their actions are the Chariot. They are coming in quite strong. The phrase I would use with this is that they're trying to take control of the narrative. This does seem like someone who has given this some thought around how they're going to approach the conversation, but not necessarily in like a positive or high vibed way. There's more a little bit of a kind of energy there of, how do I get out of this? How do I smooth this over without sort of having to fully acknowledge the blame in the situation? It's given me the energy of like when I was a little kid and I would do something wrong, my mum would catch me out, and sometimes I would just kind of be honest and say like, yeah, I did it. Other times, because I would actually blame my brother and say it was him. The energy is slightly, it's assertive, but it's a little bit dominating with that Chariot energy, in this case, Cancerian energy. We've got the Page of Swords is here, here, so that conversation, they're wanting sort of to straighten things out with you, but there's some difficulty. The first point is that argument that kind of acts as the catalyst before a sort of makeup, but they're in the energy of kind of deflecting, coming in. So instead of them coming forward and like apologizing or explaining something, they're coming forward in a slightly more aggressive manner to try and kind of deflect things off themselves a little bit. There is a slight gaslighting energy to that initially as well. But with the Nine of Swords in reverse here and then the Eight of Wands, it does see itself straightening out and moving forward. Let's see where the energy is going. We've got the Ten of Wands, acceptance of responsibility, and then moving into the Ace of Pentacles, but this takes a little bit of time with the Ten of Wands. The thing I would say here, yes, sometimes there is your truth, their truth, and then where that energy meets in the middle. On the positive side of things, this has a good conclusion. It helps to straighten some things out between the two of you, but I don't necessarily like the energy that it takes to get to that point. And it does take a little bit of kind of backwards and forwards here, and a bit of conflict. So this may take a little bit of time, but it does sort itself out and straighten itself out and move into the Ace of Pentacles. So this does seem like it, because of that Nine of Swords in reverse, it's some issues to do with kind of trust in the situation. The main thing I would say here, Aries, is don't let them take control of the narrative or the conversation too much, and don't let them gaslight you as well into accepting fault or responsibility for things that are not your fault. So there is kind of an awkward conversation or conflict coming up that isn't necessarily positive to go through, but does have a kind of positive conclusion in terms of ironing out the situation between the two of you and getting you out of this anxious energy, and then with the Eight of Wands helping to move things forward. Anyway, guys, that is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it and it resonated. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, though, it is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. However, if you are interested in personal readings, I have a half price sale on at the moment till the end of October. A link for that is in the description box below. Cheers.